everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott. It's time for the Almost Friday show for September 16th, 2010.
It's going to be a bit of a shorter week this week, as apparently nothing's happening in entertainment news.
Or really much tech or science or cameras, though. Yeah.
Lots of cameras. Lots of
Again,
cameras.
still.
It's that time of the year.
Yeah.
But first, we're going to go to From the Gutters. Dave's going to be talking about I Am Legion.
Then it's time for Tech Insight. We're telling you about a Twitter update. Not huge, but it makes it a little more usable on the web.
And in Behind the Lens, we're checking out the new D7000. Nikon's finally stepping up their game and bringing a proper video camera to the DSLR
He's been
market.
waiting for it for how long now?
Quite some time.
It's coming. I know it's coming.
I know it's coming.
It's here. Yeah.
But without further ado, it's time for From the Gutters.
Hi everyone, welcome to From the Gutters, and this week I'm going to be reviewing for your benefit, I Am Legion. This is kind of a scary cover. Anything with swastikas on it, I get a little nervous about it, but in this one, I think they're trying to vilify this guy who they're depicting as unpleasant and kind of Nazi-ish, and at any rate, this book is, it's funny, the person who gets the first billing on this is the artist, and that is John Cassidy, and the writer Fabian Nuri gets second billing. I don't know what to think of that. I know that John Cassidy's a big deal, but why is it that Fabian Nuri gets, you know, sort of afterthought? I don't know. At any rate, the story on this is Second World War era. There are vampires which are eventually revealed as being Vlad Dracula, and his brother, Rudy. I don't know, I don't want to really ruin this, because not a whole heck of a lot happens in this book. When you flip through it, it's interesting, because what you get the impression of is a great deal of confusion, and it just looks like a really weird book. When you're reading it, the story is very quiet. It's European, it's bande dessinée, and they have, my experience of bande dessinée is that they have a very quiet, very subdued, very subtle kind of storytelling. A lot of the really cool stuff happens in the visuals. But all of that being said, with this story, we've got the two vampires who, in this case, can hop from body to body, and it's a blood thing. All of the blood from the body that they're inhabiting hops to another body. There is a telltale mark on the back of the neck. Each brother has a different one. It looks like a wine birthmark, but they're subtly different. Now, there is a British contingent that is trying to track down these two guys. They're like, this murder happened, and £100 million worth of money went missing and all that. And it also deals with a failed assassination attempt of Hitler. So, it's interesting because there are a few different stories happening at the same time. And I think in part of it, they're trying to confuse you with what's going on. The art, John Cassidy's artwork really, I think, suited this storyline. And he also has a very European sensibility to it, and especially with the panel construction of these pages. What would I give this book, though, in terms of marks? I don't know. This was a really tough one because I found the story entertaining, but it was not a page turner. I did want to get to the end of the story, and I really enjoyed the visuals because I love John Cassidy's artwork. You may have seen his other stuff on Astonishing X-Men. You may also have seen it on Planetary. What would I give this book? I give it a B, because this is sort of an ambiguous feeling about this book. I think it's a good book. As I think more about it, I think that it was well done. no one in this book is vilified particularly. No one is seen as being a particularly good person either. In that sense, it was very much like Ellen Moore's From Hell. But other than that, I'm sorry, this week, I don't know whether to recommend this book or not. I think it is worth reading, and if you guys read this and you have an extreme opinion in one way or another, if you don't like Nazis, by the way, I wouldn't read this book. But if you do read this and you have a very different opinion, please send me a line. And this week price point $29.95 US, which is pretty good. It's our hardcover, and you get a lot of John Cassidy artwork. That's about it this week from the Gutters. I'm Dave, and I'll see you next week.
Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Insight for this week's episode. What do we got, Scotty?
Not a very interesting week in tech, unfortunately. No huge announcements or anything, but there's a few updates we're going to bring to you. First off, Twitter released a new web interface this week. It looks really cool, but you can't get it unless you're an American. And only some of the Americans.
What does it do?
So basically, it's a two-panel interface now. Looks pretty slick. So you have your tweets on the left, pretty similar to what was there originally.
Okay.
And on the right, it looks like an extended of kind of what was there, but that's actually a dynamic pane now. So media will show up there. So if you're looking at a tweet with a picture, the picture will show up on the right. The video will show up on the right, things like that. If there's no picture or video, it'll show you similar tweets, maybe with the same hashtags or retweets or other tweets by that person.
Okay.
So it's basically making the web interface more usable, more attractive as an interface, because a lot of people don't use Twitter via the web. They go clients on the desktop, clients on the phones, things like that. So it adds a little bit more functionality kind of to attract people to using the web interface.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Looks pretty cool. I use the Twitter web interface a lot because I stopped using TweetDeck for some reason on my desktop. I don't have a reason.
I was going to say I use the web all the time.
But I'm really excited for, I think, the media integration mostly, to be able to not have to click away from my tweet to see that picture in a decent size.
I think that's going to be the best part of it.
And I mean, there's integration with things like DeviantArt and YouTube and Vimeo and tons like that. So you will see the embeds there and things like that. So nothing big, but I think an update that Twitter needed to make, and hopefully they'll be rolling it out as fast as they can. Twitter's not really known for web stability in terms of server capacity.
No.
So take your time, please, and roll it out properly.
You know what I do appreciate, though? They have got to fail well on whenever
Yeah,
it's
I
over
don't.
capacity.
I hate the fail wheel. I'm tired of seeing it all the time. Next up, 3D Blu-rays coming to people with PS3s on September 21st. They're pushing 3.50, I believe, is the firmware version, and that'll bring 3D Blu-ray playback to your PS3.
Cool. Too bad I don't have a 3D TV.
I think that breaks the barrier for the 3D TVs a little bit, because if you already have that, you don't have to spend the extra $300 on a new Blu-ray player.
That's true.
I don't think it'll really push sales that much, because there aren't any DVDs to watch yet.
No. You have Avatar.
Avatar's not out on 3D Blu-ray.
Oh!
It's on a normal Blu-ray, and when it does come out, apparently you're going to need a Panasonic TV to watch it on. So,
right,
yeah.
that's right. As per last week.
Kind of out of luck, but good to see that Sony's rolling that out. And they're kind of originally they had said that it might be restricted if you needed a Sony TV to do this. There's no word on that, so I'm hoping that that's not true, because that would be silly.
Yeah, that's really shooting themselves in the foot for this. But
if I had a 3D TV, I'd explore it, but I don't, so I'm not going to get back to you.
But you don't have a 3D TV, but have you ever wanted a TV that uses light to send data?
No.
No?
No. So what Sean's talking about, we talked about it on the audio show. LightPeak is a technology developed by Intel. It's basically fiber optics, but runs data at about 10 gigabits, which is a lot faster than HDMI and Ethernet and stuff like that. Basically, their idea was, let's conform all these cables to one standard so I can plug with one cable. I didn't really get it. So it's like, well, I have multiple peripherals.
Yeah. The whole idea is to literally reduce everything down to an optical cable.
Yeah.
Rather than having copper, because once again, the whole idea is to give you your media faster and better than before.
Now,
and with a higher band.
So basically, Intel came out and said we had this technology, but obviously nothing has it other than the cables. So they need adapters and things like that.
Yeah.
The adapters were huge. Now this is a modified Samsung TV. It had nothing to do with Samsung. Basically, the light peak data comes in there where it says LPK, goes to a graphics card that they modified to run light peak, and then see that HDMI cable in the middle? Yeah, that's basically
Goes through the graphics card and comes out the HDMI.
Yeah, so they're taking basically what they're saying is there are adapters, they're going to be built into things. So light peak is becoming more viable. People like Western Digital, Lacey, Avid are going to start developing light peak into their stuff. I could see maybe for hard drives this is going to be cool.
Data moving, okay. Like USB B type, for instance.
Yeah.
The thicker, squarey kind of cable.
This is what USB 3 could have been.
Yes.
But I wouldn't look forward to seeing it on consumer devices anytime soon.
No. This is going to be server farm.
I think it's not finding a place. Optical's already in server farm, so I really don't know where this is going. I don't think it's finding a place in the marketplace at all because you're going to need to buy 150 adapters to use it.
Yeah.
So
we're kind of looking at a use of a technology, but to use the technology, we have to take a step back.
Yeah,
it's kind of like taking...
Which, to be honest, is how most things come out.
Yeah.
But this one seems a little too far out there. Like, one cable, do you have them all? Well, we already have HDMI, which does audio, video, and data.
Exactly. But this is kind of like... What they're doing, especially with this TV, what irks me, is it's like, okay, I want to listen to my LP, my vinyl record. But to do it, I'm going to run it through my cassette first, record it to a cassette, and from cassette digitize it onto a CD, play the CD, but at the same time put the CD into an MP3. Get the damn MP3. Like, get rid of the middleman, what you have to do for this. Use the HDMI.
At the same time, it's a proof of concept.
It is a proof of concept.
So I can see where they're going.
But we've been proving optical data moving forever.
But, yeah, it's like, okay, well, we already have optical Ethernet.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, it's a much bigger bandwidth. We'll see what they do with it. Hopefully something interesting. Intel's an awesome company.
Yes.
You never know. That's our rant for the week. We don't really, not on board. Last week we talked about Apple opening up the App Store development. They have announced, not Apple, but Unreal has announced that the Unreal Engine 3, which is running that demo for the game I can't remember, the really cool sword.
Epic Citadel.
Epic Citadel, thank you. The game that Steve Jobs demoed on the iPhone 4, that's running on the Unreal 3 engine. That engine's being released to developers for iOS. Soon, very soon. So that's really cool. That's a big step in the right direction. Look forward to see some sweet games coming from there.
Yeah,
they were also saying, yes, it's coming to Android. Not a priority.
Obviously.
I think that makes sense. I think they're being realistic about it, but they do want to bring it there, which is really good to see.
Considering the variety of Android devices, I think it's a good move that it should be a kind of a tentative thing.
It's not only that, but there's iPod Touches and iPhones.
Yeah, and you got
a much bigger market.
Yeah.
So, but good to hear that they do want to bring such a powerful engine over to the Android platform.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Last up, Sean brought up some tech here. It's called the Smart Book.
Yeah, and I quoted Gizmodo because it's the best thing ever is the Voltron of laptops. And if you actually have a look at this thing, we got a picture. It's a tablet, but at the same time, it's using a docking station that has your keyboard. Like, it folds up like a regular laptop, but you get a neat little piece. You get a bunch of technology with this. You get yourself a tablet. It's all Android-based, by the way. It's using the ARM A8 processor. No idea what the speed's going to be for it. But it comes with, essentially, you get your main body there, your main tablet, but then you get the mini tablet on the side.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what SmartBook has kind of done is made the Android version of the iPod Touch and iPad.
That they also sell with a tablet and a docking station.
Yeah. So...
And you have to buy them all together? This is what they're marketing?
Yes. This thing, if you buy the SmartBook, they sell these things separately.
Okay.
These are separate products, but what they've done is they've brought them all together into one. I'm not entirely sure where the little one fits in. To be honest,
I'm thinking there's some kind of integration that you can send data over to the little ones. So
that's what I was kind of thinking.
Or like use peripherals like a webcam on the little ones. You can walk around and see it on the big one. Or stuff like that.
I could see it for that, but otherwise,
This looks like a geek toy to me.
Yeah, this is definitely a toy.
This falls into the realm of the libretto.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, I'm going to admit the libretto's been way more useful than any Android device. Any Android tablet that I have actually been able to play with, there's people at work who have some, and I can honestly tell you, the libretto is way more function and allows you to do quite a bit more, obviously. But this is definitely one of those toys.
Yeah.
No price that I could find. It's probably blatantly on Gizmodo's site. Just give it a check. It should be right on there. The link's also in the show notes. It's probably blatantly there, but
Probably
I couldn't
not
find
the
it.
next big thing you want.
No,
And definitely not the iPad killer.
definitely not. This is what they were hoping for. There's, of course, every company's trying to make their iPad killer.
It's not going well for anyone, really.
No, not at all. I mean, the thing that kind of made me mad was the Redo reviews that were coming out. Oh, it'll be the next iPad killer. No, they're not comparable.
They didn't even try.
No, it's not even comparable. So I guess really, rant wasn't completely over. Stop trying to kill the iPad. You aren't going to do it. Neat device, however, in the way that it all fits together. It's all integrated. Cool move. I like it.
People are throwing stuff out there. This is what you get. Some are hits, some are not.
Yeah. Basically, this is one of those things that you would have seen at CES.
That would never come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such as we were discussing Lenovo's.
It's
that
very
they
similar to that Lenovo tablet netbook thing that looked awesome, but then they can't.
Yeah.
So that's it from Tech Insight this week. Next up, we're going to the extended behind the lens because there's lots of camera announcements, and we have a really cool video camera to show you, so stay tuned. It's time for Behind the Lens this week, and of course, we wouldn't be behind the lens lately without tons more camera announcements.
Yeah, it's that month. Everything's going on. There's still going to be more coming because there's still some more cameras I know are getting announced next week. It's a big month. September's a big month.
Ongoing,
Coming up to
yeah.
Christmas, Photokina happens. It's a big time for cameras. But all those Nikon people out there that have been finally waiting to get their hands on a real video SLR, this guy right here, your prayers have been mostly answered as Nikon has come out with the D7000, which is going to be running 16 megapixel CMOS sensor, which is good. It's the first time Nikon stepped above 12 in their SLRs, with the exception of their really expensive D3X.
Interesting.
But the cool thing about it is, although it's 16 megapixels, it's supposed to have as good low-light capabilities as their full-frame D700, which says a lot. They're saying that on a smaller sensor, we're getting just as good low-light quality with more megapixels as a bigger, less megapixel sensor. So I'm excited about that. But you all want to hear about video, and that's what this guy is coming to the table with. They haven't decided to go full in like Canon has. They've made a couple of different choices. Basically, what you get in the box is a 1080p at 24 frames per second, and then you can also shoot at 720p at 24 and 30 frames per second. So there's been a lot of talk about the fact that the Canons do 60 frames per second at 720p,
Yep.
and they also have a 30 frames per second option at 1080, which some people prefer shooting in as well. So Nikon's given less in their 1080. Not what people are used to in 720, but arguably no one's giving 24 at 720, which I think is kind of a benefit, because a lot of people go, I really want 24 frames per second because that's that filmic look.
Yeah.
But, you don't always want to shoot at 1080. One, it takes up more space, and two, there's still a lot of computers that can't watch that kind of stuff. So shooting at 720 is sometimes a better delivery tool.
Yeah.
So I like the idea that you can shoot in 720 at 24 frames per second as opposed to having to shoot in 60 and it being obviously crisper. But, there's always going to be somebody
it's that
complaining.
option that's been taken away, so it's hitting a different audience. And
Yeah. Now, the big thing that this camera needed in order to really compete with the Canons is manual exposure control, which, according to Chase Jarvis, who was the first guy to announce the camera moments after midnight on the 15th, is that it does have manual exposure control. It's a little bit different than how Canon does it, because apparently once you set your aperture, you cannot change that during the clip. You're supposed to have to, stop the clip and then change it afterwards.
But like we discussed earlier, would you really want to change your aperture mid-filming?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you can change your ISO and you can change your shutter speed mid-filming, so you do have some exposure control. But the thing is, if you're actually technically talking about shooting a film, you don't want to change your shutter speed or your aperture mid-clip, because it completely changes the perspective halfway through a shot. The ISO is really the only thing you want to change, because if you go from brighter to darker, you kind of have to ramp up the sensitivity. So it makes sense to change that, because that's just going to change how bright the scene is, whereas shutter speed and aperture have direct effects on what the scene looks like.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned that you can't change the aperture going in. I can understand the novice people want to be able to do it on the fly if they have to correct for stuff, but the long story short of it is you shouldn't be doing it. So, I mean, we'll see. The thing is that there's really no information about the bitrate of the video. However, they have switched to H.264 MOV files.
Which is good to hear.
Because they were using Motion JPEG, and that's why their video looked like crap. So now they're the same format that Canon's shooting in. It's going to be a little bit easier to edit in, a little bit more user-friendly, and hopefully a higher bitrate because it's a little better compression as well. but no announcements on the bitrate. There's been speculation that it's around 20 to 25, which is substantially less than Canon at 44, but we don't really know yet. So D7000, I got a picture for you here. Basically, it's kind of a halfway point between the D300S and the D90. It's a little bit better built than the D90. It's got 6 frames per second, so faster than the D90. It's got 39 autofocus points, which is more than the D90. Again, more megapixels, better low light capability. It's kind of put itself in a weird market because in a lot of respects it's better than the D300S, but in some respects it's not. So I mean, if you need a few of the more pro features, you're going to want to stick with the D300S, but ultimately the D90, the D7000, I'm sorry, at this point could potentially take a better photo than the D300S, and ultimately features mean nothing if your photo's better in one camera versus the other.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of weird. We'll see how it plays out. I'm hoping to get hands-on with it really soon, as they arrive, which should be sometime mid-October, and we'll get it on the show for you. The other big thing Nikon announced, they had some lenses, nothing really special there. They did announce the new SB700. Which is their hot shoe flash. Got a picture of it here. Basically, the big idea for this guy is it has less power than their SB600, but it costs more, which doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Less
However,
for more, that's good.
What they did do with this SB700 was they put a master capability in it. So that means you can use this flash to control other flashes, which you couldn't do with the 600, which meant if you needed master control capability, you had to spend $600 on the SB900, which wasn't a whole lot of fun. This guy's supposed to retail for about $380, so it comes in at a better price point. You sacrifice a little bit of light. Nikon says it's because their cameras are better in low light now. That's a stupid response, but Nikon tends to do things like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have been holding off on getting a master flash and we're going to spend the cash on the 900, wait, get the 600 or
Gives you
700.
kind of a middle of the road option.
Gives you a middle of the road. But not to be left out, Canon also decided to jump in with some more cameras.
More.
Canon's just not stopping. It's relentless. Canon, we get it. You have cameras. You can slow down.
They're
now.
holding a few every time someone else releases something.
Oh, we got something. We got something. That's what they're doing. So the first big one is the G12, which we've got a picture of here. It looks like the G11.
It really does.
And really, it's very similar to the G11. Not much has changed with the exception of the fact that it now shoots 720p video. They've put a different adjusting dial on the front, and that's about it. So if you were thinking getting a G11 but were upset that you didn't have high-definition video, there's your answer. If you didn't care about video, go buy a G11, because it's cheaper. It's the same camera.
This is another one of those, like, we're going to increment the model number and give you one or two more features.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's the same camera.
Arguably, the biggest complaint people had about the G11 was the lack of high-definition video.
There
And
you
since
go.
the P7000 came out and had high-definition video, the G11 was kind of like, I'm scared, I'm not going to have a market. So Canon's like, G12.
You know, that took them about 12 minutes of
Yeah.
production. They're like, video. Okay, let's go.
Should be retailing for about $569, which is what the G11 used to be selling for. You can get the G11 now for about $469 or $479, so pretty decent price point if you don't care about video.
Yeah.
They also came out with the SX30, and this time they actually did do something reasonable. I got a picture of it here for you. And look at that. It has a giant freaking lens on it.
Yeah, it's a big lens.
This guy has 35 times optical zoom. I'm going to say that again. 35 times optical zoom. That is the most any super zoom camera has at the current point in time. It's preposterous. I can't imagine the picture's really good at 35 times optical zoom, but good on you, Canon, for sticking more in there, I guess.
Sure. If
I suppose.
that's really what
that's really the big thing for this guy. It's got the 720p video and stuff like that. If you were looking for that super zoom camera and 30 times that, Olympus was offering just didn't cut it, well, here's the extra 5. Canon, like...
This is for the guy who always one-ups,
Yeah, Canon's literally sitting around going, we can beat that! Someone, go grab some extra glass. All right, 35. Yeah, look, I don't know, Canon, what are you doing?
Someone else is going to release a 35 and like 40!
Yeah. Anyway, if you really wanted a ridiculously long super zoom,
There you go.
SX30. Not to be left out, though, Samsung and Olympus also announced some stuff.
Exciting.
First up, the Samsung NX100, which I got here. It's a really nice looking camera.
It does look really cool.
Yep. Basically, it's their NX line of cameras, so like the NX10 that we reviewed earlier on.
Yep.
This is using all the same lenses, the same sensor, pretty much the same settings altogether, but it's that sort of box-style camera to compete with Olympus and to compete with Panasonic.
That's becoming a really big market, eh?
It is, because
Yeah.
people like that really small, compact style, but, SLR performance.
Yeah.
What's neat about this one is they've put a function button on the lens, and that function button is supposed to allow you to change some settings while clicking clicking the function button and then moving the focusing ring on the lens. So that actually allowed the lens to control parts of the camera, which
that's
is
different.
the first time the
Yeah.
lens has really done something backwards into the camera. So that's kind of cool. Obviously, I don't think it's going to work on the NX10 if you buy those lenses. Maybe it's a firmware update, but it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But if you really like Samsung's technology and you were just waiting for them to make something smaller, it's here. I mean, it was leaked a long time ago, and everyone knew it was coming, but now it's official. I don't have a price point for you, but my suspicion is it's somewhere in the $700 range. That's likely what it'll be. Then Olympus decided to make the E5. If you're an Olympus shooter, you probably own an E3 because it's the only camera they ever made that was worth something. If you're an Olympus shooter and you own the E3, you won't buy the E5 because it's stupid. I really don't know what to say about this camera. Essentially, Olympus has no idea what's going on in the market, likes to waste everyone's money, and is retarded. Because they decided to take the 14 megapixel sensor that's in their EPL1, which costs $600, put it in their Pro Body E5,
Good. Yeah.
and charge you $1,800.
So where's the $1,200 go? That better be like a diamond encrusted.
Well, I will say that Olympus's body is very well built, very well weather sealed. Arguably, I've heard some people that have dunked their cameras in the water and it continues to work, completely submerged. I mean, not shoot underwater. So you are getting a really high quality body. It does have a flip out rotating LCD screen. You got faster frames per second, all the pro stuff. But I mean, it's not stuff more than what you see on the D7000 or the D300S. And the D300S right now is $1,400. And arguably, for the most part, it's a better camera than the E5 is. Olympus did decide to finally join the video game, though, and has added 720p footage to their E5.
Yeah.
It's an $1,800 camera, guys. Give us 1080p. Like, honestly, I don't know what they're thinking.
So if you own a lot of Olympus glass,
Keep shooting with your E3.
Yeah.
And if it breaks, I guess you'll have to buy an E5.
And if you want to go to video, buy new lenses.
Buy a Canon or
Yeah.
maybe the new Nikon.
That's
Because Olympus is going downhill as a company. They're hanging on with their EP series, but that's it. They've stopped making mid-range SLRs because no one's buying them, and they've made this E5 only, I think, to make some pros happy that were like, I really just want to have some video on my pro body, but I don't know anything about video, so I'll assume 720p is good.
There you go.
So yeah, that wraps up all the new announcements this week. I guarantee there'll be more stuff next week because Panasonic still has some stuff to talk about. But we're going to move on to something really awesome.
Which we talked about a little while ago, I believe.
We did. We talked about this. Well, this is the Sony NEX VG10. And this, my friends, is a camcorder. But what's special about this camcorder is it does this. That's right, I have taken a lens off my camcorder. So, with all the DSLR talk that people have been going on about, this is the first version of a camcorder, I should say, that has an interchangeable lens, which arguably is a smart decision because the biggest problems with DSLR video is that they don't really autofocus all that well.
Yeah.
They usually have a limit of somewhere between 5 to 15 minutes worth of recording time. They don't really have a very good microphone on them. They don't have a very good viewfinder. Most of the time they don't have a swivel screen. And they're really not designed to be held or anything for long lengths of time. So that's what this guy's for, because this gives you your standard form factor for a prosumer video camera.
Yep.
You've got a nice big handle here. You can hold this at a comfortable angle. You've got a nice big 3-inch flip-out LCD screen. You got a nice rotating viewfinder with a diopter on it, so you can do your top-down shooting. One of the nicest things about this camera is this special microphone that Sony's using, which is actually a quad array microphone. It's 4 different microphones that are all directionally placed to try and grab essentially a 3-dimensional sound. It's a Dolby DTS system. You end up with stereo sound, but it mimics a 3-dimensional sound in the way that it captures audio. Now, I do have to say, the audio quality of this mic is spectacular. If you were going to buy a Rode shotgun mic or something like that, this really does as good a job for the most part. And it's built in. Now,
which is nice to see because a lot of our built-in video camera mics are not very good at all.
Yeah.
So
you end up with a really awesome 18-200 zoom lens, which is 11 times optical zoom. If you own an NEX 3 or 5, you can throw this lens on your NEX 3 or 5, and if you own one of those, you can take their lenses and put them on here. So it's got a bit of a system already built into it. It records at 30p, 1080 30p. That's my big problem right now, is that it only records at 1080 30p. And it's actually in a 60i wrapper because AVC HD doesn't officially support 30p. So you get a 1080 60i that's actually 29.97 frames per second. You don't have any 24 frames per second, and you don't have any 720p footage, which is kind of weird. Also, you've got no manual control for audio if you decide to plug in an external microphone, or even these microphones altogether. So Sony has kind of come out and said, we don't know what the market is for this, because honestly, it's a $2,000 camcorder. Now, this lens is worth on its own about $700, so that makes up a large chunk of it.
Yeah.
But the consumer market is going to have a hard time spending $2,000 on this camera. And the indie filmmaker is going to have a hard time wanting to buy this camera because it doesn't have 24p or 720 or manual audio control.
From a filmmaker's point of view, this is a single-purpose camera.
It is.
You can shoot 1080p at 30 frames per second, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's other than that. I mean, if you want to change it at all, you can't.
Now the workflow is great. It's very easy to use. The video looks really nice. It's just missing some features that make it an indie camera, and it costs a little bit too much to really capture the consumer market. So I'm not sure what to say about this camera. I mean, on the whole, I really like it, but ultimately, I think
it's a first try into the dabbling of having the removable lens in the prosumer level video cameras, but it's definitely a prototype level.
Basically at this point, I really want to see what Canon's going to do.
Canon turns around and goes, there you go, and then it's over.
And it'll probably be really good. Recommend it? Maybe. That wraps up Behind the Lens this week. And it also brings us to the end of the show.
Yes, it does. If you want to reach us, you can do that by email at contact at almostfridayshow.com.
Or you can hit us up on Twitter at almost_Friday. We like to tell you when our shows come out and things that we're doing.
Yeah, or things Sam's eating for lunch.
That occasionally happens.
Occasionally. It is Twitter.
She logs into the wrong account.
Who knows?
All of a sudden, Sean might be ranting about somebody he killed.
Which, when it shows up on that feed, is just kind of...
I promise we're not hitmen in disguise.
No. And if you want to find out show notes or anything about the show, you can go to our blog at almostfridayshow.com.
And we would like to let you know that middle of October, we're going to be going out to Toronto to cover Henry's imaging show, which is the largest photo show in North America. So we're going to be on the floor all weekend long, cutting together clips for you, and we'll hopefully be putting them up on our site or giving you some sort of condensed version of it after the fact.
You will be able to get to them.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you are interested in photo news, check out that. Like I said, October 15th through 17th. And we'll be covering that show. So I guess until next time, Canon, stop bringing out cameras.